Well, I can tell you guys one thing for sure. Wash days are a lot more fun when you have some hardware from your weekend. As a race car driver, doesn't it suck when you just have other things going on in your life and then all of a sudden like it's already Tuesday afternoon and you feel like you haven't really made any progress to be ready for the next weekend? That's kind of where I'm at, which I'm actually being a little bit dramatic. Everything is washed, but I was kind of hoping to maybe have the car done by Tuesday, like just grind it out in the beginning of the week. Some other stuff got in the way, so now we are finally getting started. We had a win this past weekend and a DNF, and I kind of wanted to talk more about the DNF and kind of clarify the situation for you guys. So first up, we are going to take apart this rear end and disconnect all the components. And I know some of you guys are probably commenting about my incredible wash job. Once I got it apart, I was gonna go through and re-clean some of it because my pressure washer broke like a quarter of the way through wash day. Not ideal. So when our catastrophe in turn 3 and 4 happened, it also got the Jacob's ladder. And how that whole incident happened in 3 and 4, it was crazy, just boom, like that. All of a sudden I was airborne and I was just hoping to land on all 4 wheels. And I wanted to go over the incident with you guys here in a second, but first, before we actually talk, let's get this engine out so we can kind of get a little work done here in the shop. So here is what really happened on Saturday. Long story short, I hit that hole in 3 and 4 leading. I took a couple big bounces and it snapped my right rear heim on the arm. And then of course, when that happened, the rear end is sitting there like this and I'm all leaned over on the right rear. So of course in our operation, whenever we have something malfunction or something breaks, we always try to look and see was there a weak spot? Is there something we could have done better? Did we miss something? And with this situation just being real, and I did not realize this, but we did not have the correct heim in our rear arm. See, if you look at the part number on this one, it says RSM8. And if you look at the heim that was on my left rear, it says RSMX8. So I'm pretty sure here, the one that I broke, it's meant for your steel left front radius rod and kind of some other stuff up front. So it's just simply not as strong. And I did not realize that. And it's crazy too with the whole thing just kind of being an accident because we checked every other rod that we have put together and they all have the correct time. So I'm not sure how this weaseled its way in there or how it ended up on the car and how it ended up in the wrong spot. But like I said, I take responsibility for that one, and it sucks. But at the end of the day, you live and you learn, and now I will always be checking the part number on the heim to make sure everything's in the proper location. So amidst all that chaos, there really wasn't much damage on the 18T to fix until we decided to change the rear end because of this. When everything happened there in turn 3 and 4 and the rear end slammed down towards the frame rail, it rubbed against something. I don't know if that was the frame rail directly or one of the other components. And when something like that happens, what you're looking at here, this is now a weak spot in this axle tube. And once I kind of analyzed it fully here in the shop and just trying to weigh my options, should we just continue to run it and see, or should we just throw that spare rear end in? And then basically all you have to do is replace that axle tube. All of this right here is good. You got to take it apart and then you just replace the axle itself. And trust me, something like this does suck because technically, you could keep running the part, but you have to look at it from a bigger picture. One, we could be having a good night and it could take us out of contention, and it could simply crash more than what you're trying to save by not replacing it. And also, I think what sealed the deal back in 2021 when we ran Silver Dollar Speedway, we actually did snap a rear axle in the feature, and so we don't want no repeats. So we just slid the spare in the car, and now we are going to get it all squared and hooked up. So you guys have seen us do this exact process many times on the channel, and really the only way I can describe it is it's like a puzzle. You have all these different pieces and they only go together one way. Now, they will go together. You can't force them, you can't mix and match them. You just have to take the time, go through it right, and put it together how it is meant to be. So that's exactly what we were doing as we were on our way to squaring the rear end of the 18T. Good? Now you don't even breathe, you don't walk next to it, you just hook it up so gently. So that was a shortened look at the process. Once we got that all done, of course, we hooked it all up and we're getting everything in its place. But then we had one more concern about our upcoming race weekend. So we're making pretty solid progress on the car and we're getting all this done, but what I think might end up being the deciding factor on this weekend is weather. Chico is, it's not looking so hot. Friday, it's supposed to rain just right around, you know, maybe hot laps and heat races, not much. But Saturday, there we go, Saturday. Pretty much all day long. Which if you guys remember, actually in June of 2022, we ran at Silver Dollar, it started raining and they basically just kept running the program through until it like was raining so hard they couldn't continue going. Like it was basically raining as we were running heats, it was raining during the C main, and out of nowhere we'd go from running normal lap times to 2 or 3, 4 seconds off the pace.
And 1 and 2, I think things might be a little slimy out there as we go off turn 2 in slow motion. Here comes Tanner Holmes looking for the lead, 13th of first for the Oregon driver. And we have cars sliding away over there in turn 4.
So pretty wild, not interested in doing that again. I can say I've ran a sprint car in the rain one time and that was probably enough. So fast forward a little bit, and now the car is about ready to head to the Silver Dollar Speedway. And I got our final update on the weather situation. So everything looks kind of about the same as it has 24 hours ago. It's been bouncing around, you know, maybe 1 hour looks a little bit less or 1 hour looks a little bit worse. I even talked to the promoter, Colby Copeland, you know, with SLC Promotions down there, and basically I think they're gonna go until it rains. So we're gonna head down there. It has gotten a little bit better though throughout the day, so we're kind of just rolling with that. We are going to load the car, so we're gonna have everything pretty much set. We did just fire it. Sounded absolutely beautiful, and then we're going to basically go to sleep, and if we wake up in the morning and the weather changed drastically or it does look worse, then we are not going to head down. But as of now, we're just planning on as if we're going to go. Some of the other tracks in our area started raining out, so like Chico is basically our only option, and if it starts to look worse, then we're probably just off this weekend. But glad we got everything all finished up. It's kind of been a long week trying to get things done, and I've just had my head down working, and now we're gonna finish it off and go do the fun part and try to get to the track and get as far up front as we can. Well, it's the weekend now. We did not end up heading south to the Silver Dollar Speedway. Woke up Friday morning, looked at the forecast, and we're like, this is not gonna work. There is no way they are gonna be able to get the show in. So we decided to not even head down there. But you never wanna be those guys that don't go and then they end up getting the race in and it's an awesome track, or you miss out and stuff like that. But also at the same time, we're like, we do not want to spend the expensive diesel to go down there, get the car all dirty, get rained on, get stuck, like just all that chaos. It was just better to not have to deal with it. And we made the right call. I had that feeling in my heart because they ended up canceling both nights and was not able to get the show in Friday or Saturday. So we basically would have just been driving down there, turned around and came back home. Glad we didn't do that. Now we're getting some stuff done here around the shop to be, you know, prepared and ahead for when we are gone throughout the rest of our season. But the good news is we are now prepared for next weekend's Peter Murphy Classic down in the Central Valley, like even down to, well, we are gonna unload, but we were loaded up. Like toter home was hooked up to the race trailer. We were about to pull out from the shop and head south, but we ended up pulling the trigger. So thanks for watching. We're still gonna have more content this next week, and like I said, just continue to get ready for the rest of things we have planned for 2023. Deuces.